walked an average of 15K steps every day for the past year. So today I'm going to explain the benefits that I've experienced, how this helps me stay lean on fairly high calories, and how you can apply this information to lose weight by walking. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I post a video about fitness, fat loss, weight training, all that kind of stuff. Woohoo! So maybe you're wondering, why does this girl do 15K steps a day all the time? The big reason that I do it is the mental benefits, not really so much appearance aesthetic benefits. It helps me cope with my ADHD, anxiety, and depression. I mean, don't get me wrong, the extra calories is a nice benefit, but I would be doing this either way because it is such a big coping mechanism for me. It releases chemicals and endorphins and reduces stress. Obviously the benefits that everyone gets, yeah, those things. Oh, and it helps me focus a lot. Later in this video, I'm gonna explain how you can use this information to make walking into a habit. But first, let's go over the effects that having a higher step count has had. Does it allow me to eat more calories and lose fat? It does allow me to eat a little more, but that is within reason. That does not mean that suddenly my nutrition is a free-for-all and I can eat as much as I want, because no. Although, come to think of it, it would prevent me from gaining as much weight. Earlier in the year, I wasn't as on point with my nutrition. I was overeating a fair bit, so the walking wasn't enough to offset those extra calories, and I did gain a little bit of body fat. But when it came to losing fat, as soon as I stopped obnoxiously overeating, I was able to lose fat fairly easily on an average of 2,000 calories. I never stick to exact, I'm always in a range. Yeah, a nice amount of calories. Another benefit of my higher step count is that it is enough to allow me to eat higher calories on the weekend and not have it set me back. Again, that's within reason. You still don't want to be doing like 10,000 calorie weekends. I would also just feel really shitty all week if I did that. Just that little extra wiggle room. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I feel like if I were a man, this is how many calories I'd be able to eat, because typically men can eat a little bit more. It's just nice. Now keep in mind, the fact I've been weight training consistently for a long time and have a higher muscle mass, that really does help with the burning calorie thing. So yes, it does still give you some extra wiggle room with your calories, but you do still have to be reasonable with it. Which leads us to the next point. Will walking lean out your legs and make them more toned? So first, let's touch on what toned really is. So if you want to have toned legs, that means you want to have muscle built up and a low enough body fat to see the muscle that you've built. So if you're just walking, even the walking will burn calories and help you lose fat, but you don't have the muscle built, so you won't have as much of the toned look from the walking, because you need the muscle to have the toned look. Similar to nutrition, it's a piece of the puzzle. If your nutrition and your workouts are in check, then walking will help you burn more calories, which will help you lose more body fat to reveal the muscle that you've built through the weight training. However, just walking alone isn't enough to get you toned. I mean, if you're completely sedentary to begin with, then initially it would help you, but eventually that's not gonna do it, only when paired with the proper weights and the proper eating. I've had people in the past also ask if walking too much can make you lose muscle. No, as long as you're eating enough and allowing yourself to recover properly from your workouts. If you're working out 5-6 days a week for a couple hours and getting 15K plus steps and not eating enough and under eating on protein, then yeah, you might lose muscle. But for me, I weight train 4 times a week. For lately, it's been less than an hour, and I get my 15K steps on average. I mean, some days I'll do more, some days I'll do less. Last week I had a migraine, so I did not do nearly as many steps. I'm going to talk about what mine are further in this video, but comment below if you have any hacks to help you get a higher step count and make it into a habit. Share with us how to hit your step count fairly easily. Now, I see some people do all their steps in one go. I've like in other 15K step videos, it takes them 2 hours, which if that works well for you and your schedule, that's totally fine, but you also may find it more manageable to break it down into little chunks throughout the day, so it kind of just adds up without you noticing. I'm really lucky because I have a treadmill that I found for free online a long time ago. What I do is I walk and work at the same time. I have a thing where I can kind of hang my laptop on it safely. So if you can, if that is an option for you, I highly recommend it. It's like doing steps in your sleep, like they just go by. That makes it really easy. But again, if that's not an option, don't worry, you can still get a high step count. If you want to break it down into a few power walks a day, what you could do is one time in the morning, maybe another time during a break, then again in the evening. Obviously everyone's days and schedules are different, but say if you do 20 minutes, fairly brisk walk, you can get a few thousand steps. That's a pretty big difference. If you're someone who sits all day and you really don't have that much time to actually walk, get the steps quicker by still doing some steady state cardio, because some people are not sure. Is step count and cardio the same thing? Yes, you can get your steps through other activities, not just walking. Let's say you go on a 20 minutes on an elliptical. That's going to get your steps up fairly quickly if you can't do longer walks throughout the day. I personally don't have any like formally planned cardio sessions. I just have my step goal. I walk, sometimes really slowly while I'm working. Literally sometimes all 15K steps are like pretty slow walking sometimes. Or maybe I'm having a day where I'm just really in the mood for cardio. Then some of my steps will get reached, get stepped. Some of my steps will happen through cardio. That's the good thing about step count. You can kind of base it off how you feel the means of getting the steps. Now let's talk about building in walking as a habit, so you just do it without thinking and it's easy to get more steps. You don't have to do 15K, by the way, which we'll touch on in a moment. Earlier I mentioned the mental health benefits of walking. I used that to build it as a habit. Basically, if I'm feeling stressed or anxious, which is gonna happen most days at some point, my habit now is to like go walk. It's gonna take time to train yourself, but you're like, okay, I'm feeling anxious. Okay, I'm gotta go on a walk. And eventually you'll start to go for a walk as soon as you're feeling kind of off. That's the best way to build a habit, is have it kind of attached to something that happens every day. Another thing is walking when you brush your teeth. Brushing your teeth is kind of boring sometimes. So I'll like walk and spit in the sink and then I'll keep walking. Obviously you're not getting a ton of steps. You're not walking super fast, but it's just keeping you active. You're moving around, which is good for your body. If I'm having a day where I'm not doing as much working and walking on the treadmill and I'm sitting, every time I have to go to the bathroom, I'll go to a further bathroom. So if I'm sitting outside and working, rather than going to the close bathroom, I go all the way down to my basement, go pee, and then go back. If you can have it so it's stairs, that's a nice convenient thing, but as long as it's further, you'd still be, again, getting your step counts, and that's not something, it's not too out of your way, not taking up a ton of extra time. Also, doing step challenges / competitions can be super fun. They have it on Apple Watch. You can add friends and do it. I know Fitbit has it. I'm sure there's other apps that do it as well. So that's another thing. If you're someone that doesn't love walking, you may find that little extra competitiveness helps you. Now, those are my kind of favorite tips, but I do have another video with a bunch of other ways to get your step count if you can't really go for a lot of walks outside, like maybe the weather's bad and you don't have a cardio machine. So I'm gonna link that in the description box below, as well as in the info card above, or is it this way? As well as the info card above. Let's talk about how to determine how many steps to do per day. You definitely don't have to just follow an arbitrary number or force yourself to do a really high amount if you're not used to it. I know if you're not used to it, you'll feel sore doing 15K if you're currently doing like just a few thousand. Definitely work your way up. If you're not tracking your steps, you can track them on your phone, but the tough thing about that is you have to make sure you always have your phone on you so you don't miss out on the steps you're counting. Obviously there's other things like a Fitbit, Apple Watch, random pedometers that'll do the job. You don't need anything crazy fancy. I used to have this like weird little clip-on one. It would clip on your shirt and it was like a circle, and people were like, what's that? But it worked, I think. Alrighty, and that is going to conclude this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out this video next and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and like this video if you enjoyed it. And I will see you next Friday. Bye!